Ironheart, no wonder Marvel tried to bury this show. Ooh, man.
Remember back in school when you had to do some class presentation, only when it got to the day and the other kids started doing theirs, you realised you'd totally misunderstood the assignment and done something completely wrong, so your only option was to hide at the back of the class and just hope against hope that the teacher would forget about you and let you off the hook.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically Ironheart for you, a TV show commissioned 5 years ago when the whole let's swap out beloved legacy characters for diverse new alternatives craze was at its obnoxious peak in the MCU, based around a particularly unpopular comic book character from arguably the least successful era of Marvel Comics ever, who did nothing but ride the coattails of her far more popular male predecessor, only with none of his charm, likability, flaws, or character development. It was a show that was basically outdated and obsolete before it was even released, lumbered with a main...
Nobody even liked it to begin with, then. So why would they go with something that nobody even liked even whenever it came out?
Character that nobody liked or
That's
wanted,
crazy.
and the fact that the past several years have been nothing but a slow-moving train wreck for the MCU gradually eroded the fan patience and goodwill that might have allowed a show like Ironheart to scrape by. Marvel knew this all too well, and they also knew there was no way to fix or avoid the problem, so they did what we all did in that school classroom decades earlier. They went silent and tried to hide, doing their best to bury Ironheart and hope that people would eventually just forget about it and leave them alone.
This was one of the worst things that happened to me. This was in my last semester of college, and we were doing a group presentation, and obviously, you know, it was me doing the group presentation. I was soloing the entire thing because nobody did anything. And so halfway through the presentation, while I'm explaining everything, the professor stops me. And sure, no, I'm being serious. I stood up the entire night. I did the entire presentation. The class was at 9 a.m. I was there early. I did the presentation. I went home. I went to bed. That's what happened. And so he stops me halfway through the presentation. And he says, okay, we've heard enough from you. I forgot their names. But, like, can you explain this slide? And they're up there like, so the circle and he he talked for like 10 seconds. I immediately was like, yeah. So anyway, let's get back into this, right? Should have called him out. Yeah, no, I did. I did call them out. I emailed the professor later on, and I was like, hey, listen, they didn't fucking do anything. And I absolutely did. It was a business. It was like a process analysis, like computer systems class. And so, like, you had to develop, like, a computer, like, system for, like, I forgot even what it fucking was. But it was basically, like, a programming chart for how something would work. And I snitched him out. I did, of course, because I had an 88 in the class, and I thought I deserved an A, because I was like, well, what the fuck? Like, I did the entire project. They didn't do anything. Like, we got an 85 or a 90 on the project. And, like, yeah, fuck that. Dude, like, again, you might, when I'm on it, you thought you were on the team? I'm in a battle royale. I'm there for me. That's it. And so anyway, fuck them. Absolutely fuck them. That's the way it is. And so get the grade. Yeah, bro, I'll always try to come out ahead. Always. Every time. And so anyway, fuck them. Base for snitching. Exactly. It's so relatable from comp sci. Yeah, because they didn't do anything. Like, they didn't know how to use the chart. So we had this Romanian professor. I'm kind of going off on a tangent. We had this Romanian professor. And I remember we had seven questions in our final. And the class is like an hour, right? A little bit over an hour for the final. Each question is an entire page. Like, it's like this, and then the page is like the amount of work that you need to do. And some girl asks, so how many of these do we have to do? Like 2 or 3? This dude goes, you can do partial work if you want partial credit. And he walks out of the room. That was it. Just straight up walks out of the fucking room. And like, bro, they were so stressed. They were upset, man. It was hilarious. I hate teachers. No, he was right. He was right about everything. And I liked him a lot. So the point is that that's exactly what happened, right? 100%. Like, I was in a situation, is like, yeah, as soon as they had to start explaining shit, it was awful. It was a teaching moment. Yeah.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Well, it turns out you can only hide for so long when you've got hundreds of millions of
trying to
dollars
hide, bro.
invested and a contractual obligation
and I
to...
tried to hide them. I did. I tried. I was like, okay, I'm going to explain this. I just told them. I said before the thing, just shut up and stand behind me. I'm going to do the whole thing. You're going to get credit and we're going to be done, okay? That's it. And I was totally okay with this. But he wasn't.
Release it sooner or later. So, over the past couple of days, the creaky old Marvel PR machine reluctantly rumbled into action once more, desperately trying to drum up some kind of enthusiasm around the show with barely a month to go before it releases. And today, we got the first official trailer. Are you ready? I'm not sure I am. No offense, man, but I'm not exactly sure that's a selling point.
Well, I love how the implication is like a Black Panther, it's like a black people thing. Like, Jesus Christ, like how patronizing. Like, am I the only person that feels that way? Like, that seems so patronizing to me.
Man, she looks about as excited as I feel.
In less than 3 minutes, the air in this elevator will no longer be breathable.
Must have been taco night, I guess. It's okay though, Riri's got a highly technical solution.
Screw this.
Fuck. I heard Riri Williams was a genius.
Aye, it takes a real genius to force an elevator door open.
Riri, I see you. I see you're fed up, waiting to be acknowledged for your greatness.
Pull your tongue out of my arsehole, Gary. Dogs do that. You're not a dog, are you, Gary?
Oh,
I want to
Jesus.
feel something undeniable. Something
Important?
iconic.
What, you mean like the thing that Tony Stark already built like 20 years earlier?
Yeah, you're gonna do the same
gist here
thing.
is that Hooded Justice, or whatever the fuck this guy's called, offers to give Riri the resources and money she needs to construct her new suit of armor, on the condition that she helps him in return. I'm sure that won't have negative consequences.
Sure.
You've bitten off a hell of a lot more than you can chew.
I could chew a lot.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
And of course, no MCU production would be complete without the patented Marvel humor.
Would a shady bunker have that on the wall?
It's literally above a crate of self-guided missiles.
I'm returning those.
That's exactly the way that I feel. Yeah. That's just about it. Yep.
And if all of this isn't a sign of how little confidence they have in this thing, then check out these comments from the producers.
A lot of people think that she's a successor to the Iron Man legacy. But in the comic book, Riri and Tony had a friendship, and eventually she got her own identity.
The story of Ironheart is not a story about the mantle of Iron Man getting passed. If anything, it's the opposite.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Spot the recurring theme here? The one thing they keep desperately trying to hammer home is that Riri Williams isn't just some cheap, lazy DEI replacement for Tony Stark. No, sir.
Surely that won't be what audiences think. Surely the audiences won't just think that.
She's her own woman with her own personality, and definitely someone you should be excited to see on
Oh,
screen.
yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Now, call me a crazy drunkard if you like, many people have, but Marvel might have avoided accusations like this if her entire character and backstory wasn't an insecure attempt to one-up Tony Stark in every possible way.
Of course.
Instead of a rich but deeply flawed playboy with a talent for engineering developed over decades of research who constructs an armored suit out of sheer necessity to help him escape from captivity, Riri is a genius teenage tech protege who probably taught herself how to build quantum megacomputers out of Play-Doh and old Nintendo consoles when she was still just a fetus. Because truly, if there's one thing the MCU needs more of, it's obnoxious teenage girls that are inexplicably amazing at technology.
Why didn't you just reprogram the synapses to work collectively?
Because we didn't think of it?
I'm sure you did your best.
God damn, is that bitch on the rag or what?
Even Dominique Thorne, the actress playing Riri Williams, really wanted to cement the idea that this wasn't some lame attempt to exploit the legacy of Iron Man. In fact,
I mean, can we just say that if you have to go on a press tour to talk about how this movie isn't the same as another movie, that, I mean, like, I feel like that's pretty bad, right? I mean, if you need to do that. Yeah, who needs to do that? Why would you need to do that?
according to her trust me bro source, Robert Downey Jr. himself even descended from the heavens to this mortal plane to give her his blessing. As if that counts for anything. He's a fucking actor, not the God Emperor of the MCU.
I think this is the dumbest thing, by the way, of having him play Doctor Doom. I think it is so stupid. You already have had a role in the universe. I think it's so weird, man. It's so dumb. It's a really bad idea. I don't get it, man. He was already Iron Man.
Anyway,
yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. and I spoke after we wrapped, and he shared some very lovely words about my journey.
That's nice.
Come on! Your journey? You've literally been in one movie at this point. A movie so forgettable that most people can't even remember you were in it. That's not a journey, that's a weekend staycation in Grimsby. He told me how excited he was and that he's rooting for it too. I literally got
it's not gonna come. I mean, like, realistically, I'm sure he wants the movie to do well. I mean, yeah, of course he does. He's not like this evil guy. Like, duh. Like, sure, of course he does. This doesn't mean a whole lot, though, right? Does it?
2 thumbs up. It's really reassuring to know that you're not embarrassing Iron Man. She also couldn't help adding that Riri is just so much better and smarter and more resourceful than Tony ever was, because of course she is. She's dumpster diving, whereas Tony Stark was this bajillionaire. What she's able to accomplish is remarkable.
Right.
Oh, really?
Tony Stark was...
Nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not replaying that same fucking clip that everyone's using to respond to this, but you do get the point here. Tony's wealth and resources counted for absolutely nothing when he was imprisoned in that cave in Afghanistan. In fact, I'd argue that he had even less resources to work with than Riri, because she had all the time in the world to design and refine her suit, whereas he was forced to cobble his together against the clock, with armed terrorists watching his every move. But hey, why let facts and reality get in the way when there's a narrative that needs spinning? Unfortunately, by waiting until the 11th hour to actually
this movie is going to be the next Snow White. I've got a feeling like it's going to be the next one that comes out that everybody hates. People are massively shitting on them. And it's a TV show. Oh, sorry, it's a TV show. Let me think. Is there a TV show that's been a huge failure recently? I forgot it was a TV show. It's the same thing, really. Like Rings of Power? It's gonna be this is Marvel's The Acolyte. I think there's a very good chance it's going to be Marvel's The Acolyte.
In it, Marvel have completely lost control of the narrative around this show, and people can now see it for exactly what it is. A cheap, lazy, and pandering attempt to exploit the legacy and coolness of one of the MCU's most popular characters, born from the hubris of a different era when Marvel believed they could do no wrong, and reluctantly sharted out half a decade later into a time when they seemingly can't do anything right.
No, they can't.
A show that even the creators seem embarrassed and afraid to release, and if the trailer's anything to go by, they probably should be. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Fucking go away now.
The funny thing about this, too, is that as soon as this happens, I think that more and more people are going to just, like, massively shit on this. And it will become, like, this is the problem with, like, media now. And it's like, I can kind of feel bad for... Let me link you guys the video. It's a Critical Drinker video. Make sure to give it a like. I think he's great. And one thing I like about his content is that it's short. And do you think a more flattering suit would have helped? No, I don't even think that this is a black female protagonist problem. I think that if they were using, like, maybe if they had, like, for example, I don't know, like, I forgot what his name was, the new Spider-Man guy. Like, if they had him, like, kind of taking on Tony Stark's role after kind of what happened in Endgame. then like, yeah, Tom Holland. Yeah, if they had him taking on that role, I think it would be more popular, definitely. But I still don't think it would be like massively popular because I just think that the story has been played out, right? It's just been played out and people have seen it and they're looking for something new, right? Miles Morales is better. Well, I don't know. I haven't paid attention to Spider-Man, right? But I'm just saying like that would be probably, and the reason why also is that, you know, the actress, and this is one of the big reasons too, is that like actors and actresses play a really big role in whether people are going to watch a movie or not. And so if you take an unknown actress comparatively, like with this woman here, and then you compare her with Tom Holland or Robert Downey Jr., you're really going to have a huge problem. Like, for example, you know, Chris Hemsworth was well known before of Thor. Robert Downey Jr. was well known before Iron Man. You know, let's see, who else? And then also it had like Jeff Bridges in it. I mean, Samuel Jackson, I mean, okay, like, do I even need to begin? Scarlett Johansson was very well known. Yeah, the new, like all of Doctor Strange. Yeah, exactly. Benedict Cumberbatch was well known. Chris Evans was well known. Mark Ruffalo was well known. Every single actor that came into the Marvel franchise as one of the Avengers was extremely well known, right? I mean, they were not all A-list actors, but they were all either A-list or very close to it. And so, yeah, that's what I would say. And was Chris Evans, though? Chris Evans was, I think that he was probably maybe one of the riskiest picks, but he had already been, you know, the fucking, he wasn't Mr. Fantastic. He was the living torch or whatever, the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four, right? And so he had already been like a supporting character in a superhero movie beforehand, right? So it was a pretty safe decision for them to go with him because they had already seen him before. Rom-com actor? Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, so was Matthew McConaughey. But like the fact is that every actor in that cast was extremely fucking good, right? They were extremely good actors and they were all well known. And then you compare it to this girl who was in, you know, Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. And a lot of people apparently didn't really like that movie, or at least they thought it was a big downgrade from the first one. And so, yeah, you're going to have a really bad time. And I think this is an element of it that isn't considered a whole lot. And it's kind of like a good example is like using like I think that something like, I mean, recasting is always bad, but it's especially bad whenever you're taking a really well-known actor and then replacing them with somebody who, you know, audiences might think is like not as good, like what's happening with The Witcher, for example. And I think that's also like, I mean, like Johnny Depp, like Mads Mikkelsen is like really popular and I think everybody likes him, but Johnny Depp is definitely way more famous than he is, right? I mean, like, let's be honest, right? Johnny Depp has been a household name for fucking 30, 40 years. And so if you bring in somebody who isn't as well known, it's going to affect the popularity of the movie. It will. And I think that's the big problem that a lot of these studios don't understand. Is that if you don't have a person that is either like a perfect, insanely good fit for the character, like a really good example of good casting is, what's his name? Christoph Waltz, who was casted by Quentin Tarantino. And the first movie, one of the first movies he was ever in, because he was in German cinema, is that he was cast as, as Hans Landa, right, in Inglourious Bastards. And it was so good that it made him like a fucking, like, immediate, instantaneous A-list actor, right, instantly. And also he followed it up with really good roles, too. And so, Heisenberg, yeah, well, I mean, no, he was still well-known. Ryan Reynolds for Deadpool. Well, Ryan Reynolds had been in some other good movies in the past. I don't think that's entirely fair to say that about Ryan Reynolds. But, I mean, Deadpool is definitely, like, his main one, for sure. And so, like, what I'm saying, and Django Unchained, yeah, well, that's the main one, but I was thinking about other ones, too. But, in general, that's the way I see it, right? And Van Wilder is goated. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, in general, like, having important actors and well-known actors makes a huge difference. And the actors that are in the show definitely increase the hype for the show. Because the truth is, the only time that I ever heard about the new Marvel movies with Doctor Doom was about Robert Downey Jr. So you can complain and get mad about it all you want, that like, oh, you're replacing the guy. And I can complain about it even. But the fact is, the only reason that we're talking about it is because he was the one that got cast. That's it. Yeah, no one's more iconic than Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. That's probably true. Honestly. Like, yeah, that's definitely true. Green Lantern. Yeah, I watched Green Lantern, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie. Yeah, not so great. It was the first time I saw him as an actor. Well, yeah. Well, Robert Downey Jr. had like a 10 to 15 year crash out. And in the process of that, he, went to jail, got arrested, had a bunch of other crazy shit happen. And then he got out of jail and he was on drugs, all this other stuff, right? It just, the typical shit that people do. And did a lot of drugs, drug addict. Yeah, exactly. And then he came back. He did Iron Man. He did like a few other roles. It was mainly Iron Man and Tropic Thunder, right? And like those two roles came out and that went crazy. Huge comeback. Yeah. And as soon as that shit happened, but he was popular in the 90s as well. Sherlock Holmes. Yes, Sherlock Holmes. That was the other one.